difference with the big bait is I'm going to throw, and if I make a cast that far off the bank, don't be afraid you're in a boat. You have, 8 foot of rod to play with. Take your boat, tap it into the shoreline, mend your line, whip it around, and you could take a bad cast. With one cast, you could take a bad cast, position it, and now I could actually still bring this lure in from deep water to shallow and have a really good shot of having a fish to commit against it instead of wasting that cast. So make sure you adjust your boat. Make sure you move around in your boat. Make sure you use a rod to do everything you can to make that perfect line for that one cast concept. We showed a little bit earlier too, we were going for some stripers on how slow I'll fish this. You're gonna see it right now, how slow I fish it right against the walls. Get on the backs of the wall, mend your line just so that line is right on the tip of that rock. And you can see in the background that bait swimming. And I'll bring it right up to that rock. Right when you get up to the rock, right where it's going to be pinched the most, that's where I'll do a directional change. That's usually when you're going to get clobbered, and you just have to be ready. That right there, that little technique right there, will put so many more fish in the boat for you. All I do is every time I make a cast, I'm trying to bring it into something. Mend your line so you get the perfect angle. Like I said, especially on the walls, around brush, tree stumps, docks, if you slow roll it, like I said, that's how I usually start the day. And you can see how slow that bait's swimming. Most people reel way too fast. They're reeling that bait like this across the surface. And if they're on a fast bite, that's fine. But you're gonna want the bait to move this quick. That's how slow that bait swims through the water right there. If you can mimic that right here, that bait, see it right here? That's what you want that bait to look like, that slow. That's gonna catch fish 90% of the time. Not this, not all this other speed stuff. It's that super slow thing that's gonna put the money in. I think I could catch one on the floating fly right now. It is just tough enough. I think that floating fly might put a big smallie in right now. All the sun's coming up. We still got a little shadow. This, I want to show you guys something. This is I've been doing this since the 80s, actually the 70s. My dad showed me when I was a kid. Is the floating fly basically a bobber and a crappie jig? I designed a doll hair jig for Spro about 4 or 5 years ago. By far, one of the best doll hair jigs you'll ever find on the market. It is so versatile. You will catch so many fish. I'm talking crappie, panfish, trout, bluegill, you name it. And it's pretty much nothing. It's just a perfect head. The neat thing about it, we have it with the Gamakatsu hook, and it sits horizontally. You want to make sure you don't want the bait sitting like this underwater or like this. You want it looking like a piece of bait fish just sitting there suspended. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie it on. I like using a little bit longer rods on this because with my height being 6'2", I can get almost a 12-foot lead with this. Now the key, make sure we don't put any line in the water. The key on this is the bobber. Now I have 2 of them I designed. I have a 16th ounce and an 1/8 ounce. Oh wait, nobody wants to see inside my rod locker. How much you guys willing to pay to open up my box and see what I have in there? This is top secret stuff. BBZ flat fly. 1/8 ounce, 16th ounce, 1-inch bobbers. That's the key to this. We're going to do a fixed bobber system. We'll go through this a little bit later. I'll go more in depth, give you the real scoop on it. But sometimes when it's super tough, I mean, we got flat calm, post-frontal conditions. We know there's quality fish out here. They are busting on bait, and the bait is right about this size. Now here's the key to this. This is precision fishing. 7.5 foot rod. If I put this bait right at the base of this rod, I know it's 7.5 foot. I know exactly where this bait is at all the time in the water. Come up to the top, do 3 little twists with the line around your bobber. 4, the line could break. 2, the bobber will slip. It's that easy. The biggest part on this, it's kind of like fly fishing. You have to load your rod with it behind the boat to get a nice cast. We're gonna mess around with this just a little bit, see if we can catch a fish. It's tough enough, nobody's catching anything out there, so we'll see if we can make something special happen right now. I can work my jig across the bottom, and right when it hits 7, 10, 12 foot of water, the bobber will turn around and sit straight up, and I'll let it sit there, dead stick, pre-spawn. The cool thing about it, as that bait sits there suspended, if a fish comes up and eats it and lifts up that much, the bobber will turn sideways.